Hello, welcome to my studio. It is incredibly messy at the moment. Just ignore that. I have just been op shopping, if you're in the US, thrift shopping, and I've also been to my local art shop and picked up a few goodies. So I thought I would do a little thrift shop art supply haul, because most of the things I bought at the thrift shop were for my arts practice. I bought a lot of still life objects to use for references. So let's get a bit of a look. The first thing that I want to show you, which is probably a bit random, but I thought it was adorable. Look at this. It is a little hand-painted wooden duck. They actually had quite a lot of these, and I stood there contemplating for a while about how many I should get. And then I decided, don't go crazy on the ducks, Claire, just get one. So I got one because I figured I could always replicate it in the scene. But I bought it as a still life prop, so I could have this little duck sitting amongst some flowers and some pots and things. It's just a different shape. I'm sort of, most of the things that I've collected so far for my still life artworks that I'm hoping to do a lot more of this year, are mostly just teacups, pots, some glasses. And so I thought I wanted a few different shaped things in there. So when I saw this little guy, I couldn't resist. He's so cute. So I got this little ducky. He was $5, so I was happy with that. I also picked up this tablecloth. It's again $5. It's a really nice color. It's got a really pretty simple pattern on it. It does go much bigger, but you can see it's got this really nice, pretty, really soft green kind of color. So this would be really nice for backgrounds. This here is a little ceramic jug. I really like this two-toned. It has got a lid, so I can take it off and put flowers or things in there, or I can just use it as a prop with the lid on it. Again, that was $3, and this is actually from Country Road, Australia, so it's a bit of a fancy brand. What else? Got some little packages I need to unwrap. Look at that. Look at the color, look at the dots. I am a polka dot obsessed. So as soon as I saw this, I had to have it. The color I love, and I love the shape of it too. It's almost like those sea anemones that you find on the beach. It's by a brand called Amalfi. I don't know. It's just a little vase. It was only $4, so that was pretty good. This was $5. It's from the same company, so I feel like maybe it was overstock that they just donated to the shop. But again, really, really cute shape. Look at that little spout, and really like this pattern. Love the color. Goes quite well with this. It's pretty much exactly the same green, which is really nice. I think they'll look really pretty together. And a pink one. Look at the color. I don't know if it's really showing up that well, but it's like a really, really pretty salmon pink. I love all of these patterns on the side. There's no brand on this one at all. It was $9. I don't know. I don't think it's a particularly expensive brand. It's definitely not old. It's quite a new homewares design type of thing, but it's really pretty. And look at these colors together. Look at that. Look how pretty they are. So that's the main reason why I bought it. So I've added these to my little still life collection. This one was $3. It's Australian landscapes in color. And I really love these old landscape books because they tend to have a really good variety. I'll see if I can hold it up and flip through without, it's really hard to flip through upside down. But they have like a really nice variety of pictures and things in them usually. There's by a whole bunch of different artists. Maybe I should just hold it here. Detail shots of the landscapes, like these sorts of things here. Like, I believe that's Leonard Long. He's quite a well-known old school Australian artist. Like the reflections and the compositions, I love looking at the way that the light was captured. I really like looking at those as well. This has some really nice big colored pictures in it. So I found this one first, and this one I was happy enough with. But then I got these. Just wait. 2. So Streeton and McCubbin, two very famous Australian painters. And these things are massive. They were $3 each. $3 flipping each. Look. I can't even hold it up, hang on. So this has sketches from McCubbin, and it also has one of his more famous paintings, The Lost Child. Look at that. Look how big this colour plate is. It's amazing. See? How cool are they? So I got this one. Oh God. Awkward. Arthur Streeton artworks in it. And it's the same thing. It has massive, big, coloured prints of some of his more well-known works. So cool. I was absolutely stoked when I saw these. Amazing. Look. So cool. Anyway, so once one more thing. I picked up some more little glass jars. So these are actually, again, they're labeled from like a company. So I think they must have been like overstocked, but they're just little glass jars. I've got a little box of 6. Excuse me. A little box of 6 of them. And obviously the lids come off. I think they're like little jam jars. But I use these to put paints in. So when I'm mixing up colours that I'm using in a couple of different artworks, I'll mix them up and put them in here, and then pop the lid on. And so next time I use that colour, I can take the lid off and use it, and the paint won't be dry. So I got those two. I can't remember. I think the whole box was like $5. I don't remember exactly, but that was kind of cool as well. So that was my little op shop haul from this morning. And then I went to the art shop, and the art shop that I go to is actually called The Art Shop. It's in Bayswater in Melbourne. I buy from them a lot online, but because I knew I was heading down that way, and I also have a workshop on Saturday that I needed a canvas for, and I didn't have time to wait for that to be delivered. So I had to go down and pick up a canvas. So I got that. I got a larger canvas and a couple of smaller ones for some other things. So that's why I physically had to go there. But while I was there, I decided to do a bit of a restock of some products and some paints and things that I've ran out of, and to also purchase a few things that I wanted to try out. I haven't really got anything in here that I've never tried before, but I thought you might be interested in seeing what I did get. So I have restocked a few of my Matisse heavy body paints. This is the brand that I use majority of the time for my own artworks. Normally I'll buy this size here. This is the 500ml size. I get this in most of the colors that I use really often and that I know I'm going to use a lot of. Other times, these sort of intermediate colors that I sometimes use but not all the time, I get in this smaller 250 jar. So I've replaced my aqua green light, my yellow oxide, and I also picked up some antique white. So normally I use there's some right here. Normally I use titanium white. So you can see this is the titanium white and this is the antique white. Hopefully the lighting will show that this is a warmer white and this is quite a cool white. So I usually mix everything with my titanium white, but I thought that I would maybe try and see what happens when I mix some colors with warm white to see if I can get a slightly different value shift and color shift with the warm white. So I've used the unbleached titanium before, which again is a warmer kind of white, but I haven't used antique white before, so I thought I'd give that a go. Now, yeah, as for these two, yellow oxide and what was it? Aqua green light. I do use these straight out of the tube or straight out of the tub. They're quite nice colors, but I do sometimes use them for mixing as well. Mixing these two colors together makes a really nice green. So what else did I get? Another acrylic paint. This is the Golden Fluid Acrylic Nickel Azo Yellow. This is by far one of my favorite colors in the golden range. I don't use a lot of golden acrylic paints because here in Australia they are a bit more expensive because we have to import them from the US. Whereas Matisse is made in Australia, or it's an Australian company, so it doesn't cost as much to import it here. But yeah, so this color, it is the fluid acrylic, and it's pretty much one of only about maybe 3 colors of golden that I buy on a regular basis. The other color would be the, and I'm going to pronounce it right, and I'll see if I can find it here. Okay, I found it. It's a bit covered in paint though. And anthraquinone blue. If I hold it up, you can read it for yourself. This color with this color makes a beautiful green color. Really, really pretty green. So I buy these two quite a lot. And there's a few other, I can't remember exactly, but they're the sort of staples that I tend to buy from Golden. And the reason why I also get these in the liquid fluid acrylic version instead of the heavy body version is because I find that this is really, really pigmented. And this jar of, what size is it? 118 mils. This goes a really long way because the paint is really, really pigmented. You don't really need to use that much of it. So when you're mixing it with other colors, just a few drops and that's enough to sort of make a really good mixture. And yeah, it really goes a long way. So I don't mind the fact that it's a fluid acrylic. And also because it's transparent, being fluid means that you can create washes with it really easily just by watering it down a little bit. You don't even need to really water it down to make a wash. So yeah, that's why I buy the fluid acrylic and not the heavy body. But yeah, but this is a really nice color. Because I did mention in a video, a few videos ago, how I finally purchased some Daniel Smith watercolors while I am building my collection. Before this, I've purchased the tubes, but because I tend to pour the tubes directly into half pans anyway, this time I decided just to buy half pans. They don't have half pans in all of the colors available, I don't think, but the 2 colors that I wanted, they did have half pans in. So I just purchased them already in the pan instead of the tube. So I got a phthalo blue and a Hansa yellow medium. I found that in the colors that I had picked up already, I didn't have a straight blue and a straight yellow. They were kind of like, I've got like I think I actually have a nickel hazel yellow and like a dirty sort of, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a dirty sort of yellow. So I got a fresh clean yellow and a fresh blue. Phthalo blue I use in everything, so it makes sense for me to get a phthalo blue in the watercolor as well. And the Hansa yellow medium is just a nice, warm, general yellow that will mix really well with a lot of other colors. So I'm gonna add these into my little palette of Daniel Smith colors to play with. I may as well open these. These are the oil pastels. In my previous video, so I'm looking around trying to find my pastel tin. Here it is. In my previous video, I mentioned that I was using the Stanley oil pastels. This is a set that I bought ages and ages ago and didn't really use that much. And I've recently rediscovered it. So I've been adding to the collection. But this is, except for the pencil, obviously. These are my all pastel collection. And I mentioned in my previous video that I had almost run out of white. So I did pick up some more white. Okay, so I ended up actually getting 3. So I got 3 white. So I'll pop them in. I also picked up a few more pastel, I'm not talking about oil pastel, but like the color pastel colors. Some more pale sort of pastel colors. Oh, where's the camera? Because I found a lot of the colors in my collection were quite dark and I didn't have enough light colors. So I picked up, it's not going to have the names on them, but it's a 223, 229 and 21, if that helps anybody. Just some nice pastel colors, lighter colors, because most of the colors I had were darker colors. So I'm adding them into my little tin of oil pastels. The last thing that I picked up were some more of the Liquitex acrylic gouache. I mostly use this at home with my sketchbooks because I find that this is really nice to use in sketchbooks because it doesn't stick the pages together because it's not glossy. But I purchased burnt umber, phthalo blue, surprise, surprise, yellow, cadmium free yellow medium, and magenta. So these are the colors that I run out of because these are the colors that I use the most in all my palettes. I always use Sailor Blue, I always use Magenta. So anytime I purchase newish products or things I want to try, I always buy those colors, and I've almost run out. So I bought some more. So a lot of this stuff is just replenishing my existing products and existing things that I had already purchased, and just restocking some things. But yeah, so that's what I bought. It was an expensive morning. So I have some other things that I want to show you. A few weeks ago, well, actually for a while now, I've been working on putting together an art book of some of my artworks. And about 3 weeks ago, I announced on my website that I was going to launch a pre-sale to see how many books I should order to start with, because I had no idea whether anyone would be interested in purchasing them, to be honest. So I launched a pre-sale on my website and my Instagram, and the original pre-sale had 30 copies of the book in it, and each book would be hand-signed by myself. And yeah, those 30 books sold out in less than a day. I think it was about 8 hours. I sold all those 30 copies. And so I ended up adding another 15 onto the pre-sale list. And so those extra 15 sold as well, which was mind-blowing. Anyway, yeah, so the book has finally arrived. So once I knew how many I needed or how popular it was going to be for the pre-sale, I ordered the pre-sale amount and then a couple of extras, and I just had to wait for them to arrive, and now they're here and I can package them. And so I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek of what the book looks like. And drum roll, ta-da! Look at it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Look. It has a beautiful satin finish on the front, and so it's glossy, but it's not like super glossy, like, you know, cheesy magazine glossy. It's just got that nice little sheen on it. The color is amazing. The color is spot on to the original painting, and it's got like a really super thick, hard cover, so it's like very plush. So this is what it looks like, and there are sneak peeks of like the inside of the book online, so I'm not too worried, but here are the pictures. Again, these pages are satin, so they're glossy, but they've got like a real soft gloss to them and a soft sheen to them, so they look really, really pretty. All the artworks are named and dated, and there's 50 pages, so there's, you know, lots and lots and lots to go through. Look at it. Look. So pretty. The printing, magnificent. So, so happy. Could not be happier. Love it. So I have these ready to go now. And I am going to be signing all of the pre-order copies. So there was 45 copies in the pre-order. I'll be signing all of those. And I also didn't mention this to anyone who pre-ordered, but I decided after I had launched the pre-order and they started selling, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I could include a little original artwork with each pre-sale as well, just to say thank you for being so fabulous and ordering this book before I'd even had it printed. And so I decided to include a little original artwork. And so the last few, I don't know, week or so, I've been working on some little original artworks. So these are all mostly acrylic or ink on paper. You know, they're all original, all unique, every single one of them. And everyone that ordered a pre-sale copy of this book is gonna get a special little signed original painting in there as well. So that's exciting. And I had some stickers made as well, so you're all going to get a sticker as well. Oh, so exciting. So I'm going to be spending the next probably week packaging all of this stuff up and getting it ready to send out. I am actually going away to Cairns next week, so I don't think I'll get them all packaged and sent by then, but I will do my best to at least get them packaged so that when I get back from Cairns, I can just go to the post office and send them all out. Because I have had people ask me, oh, I missed out on the pre-sale, can I order one? Yes, I just wanted to get these pre-sale ones out of the way first. I wanted to get the order in. I wanted to make sure that I had, you know, the quality of the books were really good and I was happy with them before I set them out, and I wanted to make sure that everyone that pre-ordered got their copies before I then released it to the public and released more copies. So I do have a couple. I've got 5 bonus copies in here, so I will probably be initially selling, you know, 4 at the full price on my website, and then I will keep adding more. I'll probably order at least another 30 or 40 of these to start with, and they'll be available on my website. So this is me actually the next day. I didn't end up doing any painting at all that day. By the time I'd filmed everything and packed up everything, it was time to leave the studio and go get the kids anyway. So this is the next day, and I decided that I would dedicate the day to creating a still life of this setup. Now, I wanted to capture it in like an expressive way, but I know I always struggle with that, and I did end up struggling with this, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But yeah, I basically just set up all of the bits and pieces that I got at the op shop the other day into a little still life setup and decided to have a go at painting it. This is acrylic paint I'm using, and it's just a little stretched canvas. The canvas is 18 inches by 18 inches. I'm using some paints that I'd already mixed up into little jars. These paints are just acrylic paint. It's the Matisse brand paint that I always use. I've just mixed up some preset colours into little jars, and I'm using those as the colours or the palette for this painting. So I don't know what colours they are. Don't ask me what colours they are. I've got, you know, they're mixtures of other things. They're not straight out of the tube, so I can't really answer that question easily. And yeah, they're just colours. So anyway, the first step was to just sketch everything out, and then I loosely blocked in a bit of an underpainting in the colours and like where I wanted everything to be, and then built it up from there. I didn't film too much of this particular paintings process. I actually filmed a lot more of the next paintings process that I do, but yeah, I do a little bit of this though. So just sit back and watch me paint for a little while. I'll jump in a minute and talk about what I'm doing. I did record a little bit on the day, so I hope you enjoy this little painting session. I don't know if you can hear me or not because there's quite a lot of noise happening in the studios next to me. But I want to talk a little bit about the painting I just finished, this still life. While it's very pretty and I really like how it's come out, it's not what I want. It's nowhere near, what's the word, gestural, painterly, messy enough. It's too tight. And you know, I know some people will probably look at it and think that's actually quite loose, but I want it looser than this. Let me flip the camera around for a second. Okay, so what I see in front of me is a really pretty rendering of my still life scene. But while there is, you know, I'm starting to get this looseness in here, and you can see that when you look close, it's not really, you know, a precise rendering. I still want to have a lot more texture and interest and more of a whimsical kind of look to it. I do love this duck. I think he is adorable, and I'm totally going to paint this duck like in everything because I love him. But I don't know what it is that's bugging me about it, but I feel like it needs to be more gestural. It needs more, I don't know, personality. But I'm not gonna paint over this painting because I do actually really like this painting, and I love the colors. The colors, beautiful. Love this pattern, love the tablecloth pattern. I even really love this loose kind of pattern that's on the vase. I am really happy with it, but I am going to try this scene again. I might move things around and mix things up a little bit. And I think I'm actually going to change over to a sheet of paper and to do a couple of really quick gestural paper sketches, because I find I'm always a lot looser on paper. I don't know why that is, but when I paint on canvas, I instantly start tightening up. When I'm painting on paper, it's like I don't really care as much about what I'm doing, and so I'm like super loose and gestural with it. So I'm hoping that if I do that a couple of times, I can then come back to the canvas and attempt another painting on canvas of this setup. But yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So yeah, I know it's like super noisy here at the minute. We've got roadworks happening across the road from the studio. They're like doing gutters and stuff, and then the guys that are in the studio next to me over here have a lot of power tools and stuff going. So sorry if you can hear all that in the background. But yeah, this is where I am at the moment, and yeah, I'm just gonna do some looser stuff on paper to see if I can get myself out of this tightness. Okay, so I know that I literally just said that I was going to work on paper, but after I finished this one, I sat down and had some lunch, and then I decided that I would just go straight back in again on canvas and have another go. This time I've kept the underpainting really, really loose, and I think that I'm realizing what my problem is and why I'm struggling so much with still life artworks. When I'm saying struggling, I don't mean struggling like I know I can paint still life. I mean struggling to get the effect that I'm looking for. And I think I've determined that what I'm looking for in my still life artworks is what I have in my landscapes, where I'm losing edges. So up here, you can see how I've kept it really gestural and really semi-abstract up here, where those trees are in the distance. And it gives the illusion of distance, and that's called losing an edge. So you've got defined straight edges, and then you have lost edges. And in my still life artworks, I'm really struggling to find those soft lost edges. Everything is very structured, and I think that's because a still life, it's made up of very structured objects, so everything has really defined edges. But I'm looking to sort of miss some of those edges to create a bit more of a semi-abstract kind of effect. So I've made my underpainting a lot looser for a start. So this one I'm going to try and focus a bit more on losing some of those hard edges and keeping the whole thing a bit more abstract. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Hopefully this one is a little bit more successful. Okay, so the lighting in here is a bit dodgy at the moment and it's still quite noisy outside, but I just wanted to compare the two artworks. So this is the second one I did. So this is the first one. And this is the second one. I am much happier with this one than I am with that one for several reasons. Let's see if I can get them both in the shot. Yeah, firstly, I think that it works a little bit better as a composition, but besides that, the way that I've actually painted it is a lot looser and a lot more expressive. So if you look at the details, I'll zoom in closer. No, hang on, let's focus. Even just the rendering of the vase. So I've still got the gesture of that pattern that's on the vase in this one. Whereas in the first one, I tried a little bit too hard to get that to look real. It looks a bit like a pineapple, but I mean, to be honest, let's look at the vase over here. That's the texture on the vase. So it is, you know, a little bit pineapple-y. But I think this time I tried a little bit too hard to get that texture, whereas this time it's a lot looser and a lot more expressive. And same with this little green spotted one. It's a little bit, you know, less perfect. Let's look at the duck. I'm really happy with this duck. I mean, I know, I may seem a little bit obsessed, but I think it's just so cute. I quite like this duck. I ended up actually adding in this sort of detail. I do like this better, and I think this area here is actually quite gestural and nice. But I'm still really happy with this guy though. I think he's still quite loose. But anyway, moving backward again and losing focus, there we are. So I think this was a very productive day. I'm glad that I ended up ditching the pattern this time. I've just gone with a lot of sort of color blocking instead. And I really like how that came out. So yes, I think I've made a lot of progress, and this is like, I don't often paint from life because this is what happens when I paint from life. So I'm really starting to push myself, you know, in this direction and loosening up, because when I paint from life, it's really hard to not, you know, try and capture every single detail that I see in front of me. And so usually when I do start a new subject, the results will be a lot more like this, which is because I'm looking way too closely at what it is that I'm painting, and I'm trying to represent it as accurately as I can. And then once I've reached that stage, I can then push myself further and loosen up a little bit more. So I'm much happier with this. The only thing I'm a little unsure about is this vase here. I think I might put some foliage in here just because it's a little bit of, it's a bit nothing at the moment. Nothing's happening and it's just an empty sort of thing. I mean, these ones have like lovely shapes to them, so they don't need anything in them. But this one, yeah, I think I might put some stems or something in there just to indicate that there's something heading off in that direction. But anyway, it has been a long day in the studio. It's almost time to head out, so I'll put some stems in that little vase, pack everything up, and then that will be the day. So thank you for joining me again on this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very, very soon.